It is a big day for Indian politics today. As we all know, Mahayuti has won a landslide, a massive victory in Maharashtra, and it has basically decimated the opposition. Though the uh, alliance partners, Congress and alliance with JMM, they won Jharkhand, but the repercussions of Maharashtra loss are going to be huge. So the question here really arises is, with this rise of BJP, and basically, we would say it's NDA, but then it's BJP all along because it's a major party, and BJP has been going strong. So it's like, will in India federalism survive? The true spirit of federalism survive, or it will be trampled upon? Hello, viewers. Vanakkam, namaskaram. Good evening to all of you. My name is Amit Mahajan, and I welcome you all to my YouTube channel, Layman History and Geopolitics. So, the friends, there are questions galore. And when we talk about federalism, what is federalism? First, let us talk about the definition of federalism. So, federalism is a state of government in which power is divided between a central authority and various constituent units of the country. Usually, a federation has two levels of government. So, it is a union government, a state government, and India there are local bodies, also local governments, municipalities, panchayats that work on a village level or a city level or a municipal level. So, going into the historical perspective, it was like that when the British ruled India, they had an idea of a federation. When they were about to go during the 1930s, an idea of a federation was mooted. And that idea, it was like that there are British provinces and then there are the princely states. They would join up and form a federation. And in that federation, there would be two lists, central list in the which the laws which we would be applicable to the provinces which were ruled by the British, and there would be a federal list in which the laws applicable would be levied on both, applicable on both the British provincials plus the princely states. But let us remember one aspect here is that even the British rule in India was highly centralized. So after independence, when we got our independence from the British, India was not made of, the word federation was not mentioned around there. The word central was not mentioned there. The word which was mentioned was a union. India is a union. And the makers of our constitution, the fathers of our constitution, they inserted some articles which gave center abnormal rights. Again, a centralized state India became. There was a specific article. We know about this article. It has been used, misused many times in our history. It is Article 356, according to which, on governor's recommendation, the president can impose president's rule in a state if law and order breaks down. That's one condition. There are many conditions. Again, if chief minister is not, there is no consensus on chief minister, or then no party gets a majority, this article is then put to use. And we have seen its misuse, probably, I think it's 192 times, if I'm not wrong. Just a moment. uh, just a moment, give me a moment. So first of all, yeah, it has been used 132 times, sorry. So first of all, in 1951 it was used in Punjab, the government was removed. Then in 1959 Kerala it was used, government was removed. And in Tamil Nadu itself, it has been used four times by the central government to dismiss the state government. Look at the aspect, the blatant use of a particle in the constitution in which the duly elected governments are dismissed on the law and order grounds or on the grounds of misgovernance. And B.R. Ambedkar, the father of our constitution, had said that it is for the center to decide whether a particular state government is functioning properly or not. So this, and then there are three lists in our constitution. These lists are under Article 246, 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution. There are three lists according on which the governments have power to make the laws. First is the central list. In central list, there are something around 100 subjects. Then there is a state list in which there are 61 subjects. And there is a concurrent list in which there are something around 52 subjects. Now, as we can very well understand, a central list or the union list, the union government can make the laws. Then the state list, the states have the right to make the laws. And in concurrent list, both the union government and the state government can make the laws. But again, there is a catch around here. If a union government makes a law on a concurrent list subject and state list also states to make a law on that very subject, the law made by the center will prevail. So again, it's again the dominance of the center, the union, the central government as we call it. Now the thing is, what the states demand. Are states not so strong that they can stand up to the center? The fact is, prior to 1990s, prior to the era of the coalitions, there was one party government in India. The Congress ruled India, and it basically misused this article to dismiss state governments at wherever it wished. So basically, it was about scoring some brownie points, meeting their political ends, and the center used to dismiss the state governments on petty issues. What the states demanded was more autonomy. They said that we need more autonomy. If we go through the idea of federation in the very beginning, the idea of federation used to be a weak center and the powers were to delegated to the states. That's what a federation is all about. So it was like this central government or the union government would have rights to make laws over defense. Defense would be in their hand, telecommunications would be in their hand, international relations would be in their hand, that would be the foreign policy, and rest other subjects were to be left to the states. But then our constitution did not work this way. The fathers of our constitution thought otherwise, and what at the end came through was a centralized constitution in which most of the powers are with the central government. So what the states demand is more autonomy. What the states demand is more resources, more just allocation of taxes to them. When GST Council was formed, uh, after that, it's basically states just have the right to levy taxes on liquor and petrol and diesel. That's what their source of income is. All other taxes are collected by the central government. They go to the central government, and central government allocates the funds to the states. Now the thing is, I'll talk about a very small example around here. I'll give you an example. The example is of my state of Himachal. Last year, last financial year, our state got something around 18,000 crores something of assistance from the central government, and this year it has been reduced to something around 13,000 crores something. So it's a deficit of 5,000 crores. Now, what happens is, if you see the government in the center and the government in the state is of the same party, they get along very well, and the center provides funds to such states. But if there is a government of opposition in a state, then it becomes very tough for the state to manage the resources, especially if they are not very well off. As we can see in the case of my home state, Himachal, we are in a dire situation. We are facing very tough times. On the other hand, the thing is, there are some states which are very strong financially, as we see Maharashtra or we see Tamil Nadu around here. It's a very developed state, very economically powerful. The center can't impose its whims on such states. And that's the very reason that we see IA, DMK, and DMK standing up to the center again and again for the valid points of the state. Now, going back to the point, first we talked about the autonomy part, that states seek more autonomy. Secondly, they seek just uh, allocation of resources of the taxes. And thirdly, what they believe is that the subjects from the concurrent list and the central list should be transferred to the state list. That state should have right to more legislations. They should have more rights over the laws. They can frame laws over the list of the subjects, because in India, center has very much great power over all the states. And basically what it has led to is totalitarianism. You see this time in 2024 elections, we saw that BJP did not get majority on its own during the general elections in 2024, and it is reliant on Chandrababu Naidu's TDP and Nitish Kumar's JDU for running the central government. That's the very essence that is saving this nation at this moment. 2019 to 2024, even from 2014 to 2024, BJP did not need support of any ally. And we've seen what happened in India. We saw all parties, leaders from all the parties going to jail, ED raiding everywhere, we enforcement directorate or tax sleuths basically all over India searching properties or establishments of opposition leaders and putting them in jail. That's what so these are judicial matters. Then the judiciary decided, and most of these people are out today. Where have you ever seen that two CMs, two sitting CMs were sent to jail? We saw that in the case of Arvind Kejriwal and Hemant Soren. Hemant Soren, again, congratulations to the person. He has won a thumping majority in Jharkhand, and that's the power of democracy. That's the power of people who answer authoritarianism in their language. So in India, it's like if federalism has to prevail, states have to need to have more power. And federalism in India came to the fore when the coalition era politics came, because the governments in the center became reliant on their coalition partners, which were basically the regional parties. And these regional parties then got a share in the power at the center, and they basically twisted the center to make such laws or not to take steps which were against the interests of the states. Secondly, what happened is after the era of post liberalization, the economic heft of the states increased. We know about the states in the south. They are glorifying examples of what states can achieve if their population is educated, and how they developed their manpower and how they succeeded. And in this success, their share of the central kitty pool, what they contribute to the central kitty of Texas, is very high. When their kitty, when their pool of Texas is very high, they have an economic heft. Center can't trample them. Can you think that center would trample down on Tamil Nadu or Karnataka or Telangana in that case? Now, there is economic disparity, we know, between, say, Bengal and Tamil Nadu. It's great economic disparity. Maybe the population size is same, but then it's about the economic policies. And see, let us be very much clear about here. The states have to play their role. The state governments have to play their role. They have to work on development. Then only their voices will be heard. That's why the voices of the states from the south are heard. And I do, in my viewpoint, the other states on the eastern seaboard of India, eastern flank of India, they are ignored. Maybe their population is huge, but then their development index is very low. And it's again wealth rules, might rules, and this is what has come to the fore. So the states have to improve in our development plan on the development mode. And as regards federalism, if in India federalism has to continue, it has to thrive. States need to have more power. The center needs to adapt and give more powers to the states, give them rights over concurrent list, transfer subjects from the central list to the state list, and emancipate, because we are a union. If India is a union of states, and we know that in India there are different languages are spoken, different ethnicities people live around here, to embrace them all, the center has to take the steps. That was all from me, from my side from today. My name is Amit Mahajan, and I request all of you to kindly like, subscribe, and share my YouTube channel, Layman History and Geopolitics. Vanakkam, namaskaram. Thank you to all of you.